Apparently were some conversations with the local North Chicago officials. Nothing official communication with the state. But yes, we believe that they are going to be fully assembled by tomorrow and then can begin operations after that. And again, we heard that that would begin early on Saturday morning, but it's possible, I suppose, that they might begin tomorrow.
And then can I ask just a quick follow-up? J.D. Vance said yesterday that there were no immediate plans to mobilize the National Guard and deploy them. Is that your understanding as well?
You know, they say things day in and day out that it's hard to believe one day. I'd love to believe that. And maybe that's the case. But I will say that, again, part of their kind of nefarious plan is begin with ICE, cause mayhem on the ground, and by doing that, say that there's a need for military troops on the ground to protect ICE. And so that's why I've talked a lot about, for the people who are going to protest, they've got to protest peacefully, not give them any reason to call in National Guard or military troops of other types. And so I don't know if you can believe J.D. Vance, just like I don't know if you can believe Donald Trump from day to day.
Governor, if the Guard does get called up, there are some advocates who have called for you to, in your capacity as Commander-in-Chief of the Illinois National Guard, to order Guard members here in the state not to obey that call. Is that something you've considered or evaluated? What other resources can the state make available to folks?
We're going to immediately go to court. If National Guard or other military troops are deployed to the city of Chicago, immediately go to court. So that's going to be our first line of defense, is getting a court to issue a TRO or other injunction against that activity. There is no way for me to override. State law does not override federal law. So we have to abide by the law. We do that in the state of Illinois. We abide by the law. We abide by state law and federal law, unlike the President of the United States, who often acts in unconstitutional fashions. So we're going to do everything we can, again, to alleviate the challenge on the people of Chicago if, in fact, the President is trying to bring troops into Chicago, military troops. But you know, he has the ability to call in other outside agents and does not have a legal right to call in military troops, but we're going to have to act quickly and have a court act quickly in order to deter that.
Governor, we've got indications that National Guard members from Texas have been mobilized at Great Lakes Naval Station, but are being redirected to New Orleans. Have you gotten any indication of which direction the Texas Guard members might be going?
We have not gotten that. We haven't gotten any information or even intel about a redirection. But that's not to say that it hasn't happened. I mean, certainly out of the President's mouth the other day, you know, he suggested that perhaps he's going to send National Guard to Louisiana. I will point out that the governor of Louisiana, just like every governor, has the ability to call out their own National Guard if they should need it. So the idea that a governor would call up the president in order to call up the National Guard is kind of a silly notion, but the president had that in his head. He said it out loud, and I guess it's been amplified.
Governor, what do you make of the president apparently fundraising off this upcoming operation, whether it's ICE or National Guard? He sent out fundraising emails apparently yesterday after this latest thing.
Well, I don't know why anybody would fund an unconstitutional action or have a positive reaction to the idea of the president thwarting the law of the United States. So, you know, I hope that it's unsuccessful. I know that there are, you know, some supporters of his who act in a cult-like fashion in supporting everything that he does, but let's remember, everybody, that the future of our democracy, the future of America is on the line, and supporting the activity of thwarting the U.S. Constitution is antithetical to all of that.
Governor, what about your advice to those who might want to celebrate this weekend, Mexican Independence Day, as those festivities begin? Are you telling them stay home?
I'm telling people to know your rights, be extra careful, and know that there is the possibility that ICE will be on the ground and causing some mayhem. Don't play into their hand. And if you have the opportunity, please protest, pull out your phone, video everything that they're doing, whether it's an iPhone, an Android, whatever you've got, and make sure that the media sees it.
Governor, you've drawn
You
parallels.
mentioned that you have activated the National Guard for prior protests when they got out of hand. If the anticipated immigration enforcement triggers protests like we saw in California, would you call up the Illinois National Guard? What is the likelihood of something like that?
Well, again, when there have been challenges on the streets that where local law enforcement is overwhelmed or asks me to bring in the National Guard, I have done that. And I would do that again, but it's not a matter of me just deciding on my own, hey, it looks like we might need them. It's literally listening to the people on the ground who understand what's going on, who are actually meeting the problem where it exists, and determining that they don't have the manpower to deal with it on their own and need some help. So that's where a governor will call in the National Guard.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
So we're going to do a group photo real quick right here. Group photo right here.
Can you step back, please?
All right. Looking right here. Looking right here, guys.
One, two, Alex, you're one,
I love that one photographer take a picture of another photographer.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm so blessed by you.
Any education questions? I got my cell phone. Feel free to call me. No, let's talk because I definitely have.